Hi there, making another video today, and this time I decided to talk about my Brass Eagle collection. I do have one other marker, but I'd rather not talk about that one. Today we'll be looking at the Brass Eagle Nightmare Long Barrel Comp, Brass Eagle Nightmare Short Barrel Comp, and a Brass Eagle Cobra. The reason I included the Cobra with this collection is because they all use the same valve train. I've read that it's a hybrid train between a Nelson and a Sheridan valve, so I can't say anything about it. I've never taken them apart because the pieces are very rare. The seals are odd shapes and are hard to come by, and I've read that a lot of the time they'll tear apart if you try to take it apart yourself. So I decided not to mess with them. Let's talk about the Nightmare first, or the Long Barrel first, my apologies. The Long Barrel, which when I started playing paintball just a few years ago, I thought this was the most gorgeous marker that you could possibly buy. It's so cool looking. I love how long the pump handle is. The pump handle is a good foot long or so, and it's just great because it really lends to different people's playing styles. You can keep your hand really far in, or you could put it all the way out there if you wanted to. Kind of a neat thing, the competitions, there's actually 6 different kinds of Nightmares. There's competitions, there's the regular ones, and then there's the ninjas. Minor competitions. They're called competitions because they have a dropout slot that was included with the purchase. So the original ones didn't have this, and you had to undo this knob, which has a bajillion threads on it. Dump out your 12 gram, put a new one in, and then twist it all the way. Well, with this one, you could put a 12 gram in, twist it maybe, you know, a turn and a half, and then dump it out, put a new one in, and you're ready to go. So it was a lot faster than the originals. Unfortunately, when I bought mine, they didn't come with feed necks, and those are kind of integral to these. So if you're looking at buying one, make sure, and it's a competition, make sure you have a feed neck. They're really important. The regular Nightmares, these are basically regular Nightmares, except that they have this cutout up here. They have this cutout for a feed neck and a hopper, and they also came stock with a Crossman. I think it's a 1357 stock. I'm not really sure on that. Well, it says right on there. Why don't I read that? The 1399 stock. So they're pretty cool little markers. They're very nice pumps. Funny thing about mine is the looser you make this front grip screw, the smoother the pump is. So if you don't mind it falling apart on the field, but you want a really smooth pump stroke, just untighten this screw right here. It is a little bit of a problem. I played with this marker once before I blew the valve on it, which was my fault. And this actually fell out while I was running, and I had to scour the field looking for that tiny little screw for, must have been 25 minutes before I found it. Then I took it straight back to my car, and I've never used it since. I have cleaned it up, and it's really nice. The stock Nightmares, like I said, don't come with a feed neck, and you had to load it manually from the front. So you'd have to put your hand in front of the barrel, unscrew this cap, which is kind of a pain in the butt to put back in all honesty. And then, you know, load up your rounds. I think this can hold around 20 or maybe 21. I'm not sure. I've never used it as a stock class gun. I just made a modified hopper rig for this. So it's a really cool gun. The original ones were made out of brass. This one's made out of aluminum. They're really nice. It's kind of odd looking from the front if you look at it, just because the top tube is so huge and then the barrel's pretty small in comparison. Just something to kind of look at. So let's talk about the short barrel for a second. Here's the short barrel. I actually have the screws out so I can show you what it looks like without the pump on. Now, the short barrel was a little bit more common, I believe, just because it was smaller. It was better for people who are playing competitively. Same thing, it's got a cutout for a dropout slot, and a cut in the side for a feed neck. Like I said, both of mine didn't come with feed necks. You would still load it the same way. It's still got the cap on the front. But in case you're curious what it looks like without the pump on, pretty much the same, except it's got this giant pump on it. Kind of neat because it looks just like the barrel of the Cobra I'm about to show next. Let's stick this back on. They are fixed barrels on the Nightmare, so if you don't like a big bore, I'm not sure if they're actually big bore or not, but if you don't like one, these probably aren't for you. Exact same, except it is a bit shorter. I'll lay it on top of this long barrel so you can see the difference in barrel length. The short barrel came out in 1988, the long barrel came out in 1989, and the Cobra came out in 1989. So they're a little bit older. They're going to be kind of hard to find in working condition, just because the Nightmares had this weird seals and whatnot. I've read a lot online that says they're pretty hard to come by, at least the seals. Guns pop up pretty often. Usually they go from $120 to like $250 depending on their condition and if they work or not. This one worked when I bought it and I blew it up. This one worked when I bought it and I blew it up. So my fault, I kind of lost some money on that. Anyways, here's the Cobra. I really like the Cobra. It still works, even though it uses the same valve train as these other ones. I took it out just a couple weekends ago. I used my turret changer and it was just a dream. It was so fun to play with. It came with this cool sight. I'm not much a guy for sights. I like aiming down the barrel. It's a lot more accurate for me. So this never really appealed to me, and I think it's kind of weird looking in all honesty. Like, it's got all these like ribs on it, like you can twist it, but it's just molded on there. It's kind of weird for me. It's got a back bottle adapter. It kind of looks like a nail spot grip, but it's not. You can't take it off and put a 12 gram in the grip. It's just a back bottle adapter. Really cool. Pump handle. It's got a really smooth pump on it. I really like it. And one thing it does have over the Nightmares is that it has a removable barrel, although it does have a lot of threads. I'd take the pump handle off first usually, but I didn't bring my tools just for the purpose of the video. And this is something really cool. Look how thick this barrel is. It probably doesn't look like it right there, but just from the side you can see how thick this thing is. It's really, really thick. It's really cool though. I really like it. There were a couple models of the Cobra. There's like a Cobra Junior, a King Cobra, and I think all that was really different with them was the barrel length. The King Cobra had a very long barrel, and I think the Cobra Junior's barrel like lined up directly with the end of the pump. I'm not really sure. This one does have a feed neck, so that's a definite plus. We spent maybe 20 minutes trying to get all kinds of different elbows to fit it when I was at the field, and then it turned out I just had to stick the hopper directly on it. So that was kind of weird. I had to hold it down with tape, but they're a lot of fun. One thing I noticed is this is not very accurate. It might be because I've never used it and I'm not used to it, but it seemed I couldn't hit the broadside of a barn with it. They're a lot of fun. If you see one and you're interested, I'd say pick it up, only for the right price though. If you think it's too much or too little, you might want to avoid it. Well, too little, maybe not so much, but if you think it's too much, then avoid it. It might be broken like mine. They're really popular with collectors just because they look really cool and they kind of bring back the old memory days. Mine are actually field rentals, and you can see it on the side right here. I forgot to mention that. Well, maybe I'm just a dirty, dirty liar. I think I'm a dirty, dirty liar. On the other one, I know for a fact it was a rental. There is markings on the other side. And the bolts, these fastening screws come out really easily. So that's another problem. I think just because it was a field rental and it is so old that it just tends to wobble apart. Well, that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, feel free to put them up. I don't really know much about the velocity adjustment if you're curious about that. There are plenty of videos showing you how to maintenance these. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them. I'll try my best to answer them. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next time.